Welcome back. Lehigh Valley's number one podcast in the Lehigh Valley. We paid to be in a style magazine and they gave us an award. So with that being said, this is the Valley's best podcast in the area. Hands down. What if I was like that? Be awful. If you want to sponsor the show, that's how we keep the lights on. These are the ads for the show. People pay, we put it on. That's how I pay the bills. This isn't done for free. It's a job. If you'd like to support us, you'd like to get your business out there, you'd like to have more options on what you can do with a business, contact me. We're doing cool things over here. I can help you out. You need apparel, you want to push your show further, you need a commercial. I can help anything you need. Anything you need. I got you. Be a part of the family. Very Fast and Furious. I'll say it each week. Fast and Furious. We love it. neveragainstudio@gmail.com. Be a part of the family. Crawlspacerepairs.com. 570-476-5866. Dennis Coes, we've had him on the podcast. He's a friend of the show, and I support all the things that Dennis is doing. He has 120 years of experience in crawl space and foundation repair. He also can do waterproofing and any basement repairs you need. It's basement, crawl space, and foundation repairs. He does a little bit of some other things too, and you can get all that information on crawlspacerepairs.com. It's 570-476-5866. If you got a leaky basement, you need something fixed with your crawl space, you just need anything done at all, Dennis can do it. He's a really good dude. I wouldn't recommend him unless he wasn't the best at doing it. So check him out. It's Dennis Coes at crawlspacerepairs.com. That's 570-476-5866. Basement repairs, foundation repairs, crawl space, all of your needs. Hit him up. FiveandDimeEaston.com. They have their website officially up. You can shop most of their stuff online. They also have Fucked. They have Fucked in the store. I think they're the only one allowed to sell Fucked out of their store. It's 484-544-4719. That's at Five and Dime Easton on social media. These guys are great. I mean, they're killing it. It's the best skate shop, in my opinion, in the area. They have a lot of cool stuff there. Both the owners are rad. I stop in when I can. They're open Monday through Friday, 11 to 7, Saturday, 10 to 7, and Sunday, 11 to 5. There is someone always there to help you out with your needs. You can check their inventory off the website. You can check out some videos they got on there, and they're doing some cool things. Their social media is awesome. They support a lot of local skaters in the area, and they're growing. I'm excited to be a part of them growing. I'm excited to help them out. They're helping me out. It's a good relationship, and I push Five and Dime Easton because they're the best skate shop in the area. Check them out. Legacy Landscaping, Lehigh Valley. Where do I start with this guy? Glenn Honan. If you don't know him, you should get to know him. Find them on social media. They have a great social media. They have fun with their stuff. They have characters on their crew. You can get them at Legacy Landscape PA is their Instagram. Glenn's coming back on the show soon. He's one of my favorites, man. You can get in touch with him for all your landscaping, hardscaping, snow removal. This guy does it all, and he is the definition of working class. He buys everywhere. I'm going to eventually do a working class t-shirt with Glenn. He busts his ass. He's got a crazy story from nothing all the way up to something. I love seeing him running businesses, and he's just a stand-up, straight-up guy. If you're looking for that and you want to get quotes and you want to work with a reliable, hardworking person, which is impossible to find anymore, that's Legacy Landscaping. They're going to be your choice for all your landscaping needs. It's 610-533-3669, and you can hit them up at legacylandscapeslv@yahoo.com. Check them out. BTG Blasting. My man, Pat Cunningham, offering you pressure washing, disinfecting, acid washing, and rust removal. It is a high pressure washing business, bringing your stuff back to glory. He does anything from houses all the way to having him come into the studio. He comes down to the studio on a schedule and he disinfects the studio, and we are certifiably clean, and it just covers all the bases. So with the things that are going on now, You're gonna need somebody like this. He's got a sticker out front. I am certifiably clean down here. He also offers free estimates on all your needs. He can do corporate and at home. You can reach him at 484-241-1711 and btgblasting@gmail.com. He just started this business and it is taking off. I'm super excited for him, and I'm super excited that he's a sponsor of the show. And you can check out BTG Blasting on social media for all of your pressure washing, disinfecting, acid wash, and rust removal needs. It's high pressure washing, bringing your stuff back to glory. He offers many things, and you need to check him out. Too, I'm sure you do. None of that. All right, episode 91, Never Again Radio. Kara, get ready to run the switcher.
Okay.
Welcome to Never Again Radio.
Let's go, man.
Yeah, we're just going to jump into it. I had you on Now We Go, and I talked to you then, and we've been wanting to do this for a while. Hold on, I got to set the timer. So I'm excited to do this now because you're in a huge transition in your life where you're left your job and you're running 10th Planet Allentown full time.
Yeah, it's feeling pretty good. It's been 2 months now since I quit my job.
That's crazy because you came down.
It was like the week after I quit. Last time. So starting to settle into it a little bit, get used to what it's like not being crazy busy all the time. So
yeah, because like how much time did you get back? 40 hours a week?
Oh, at least, because I was working at least 40 hours a week when I was working for PPL, so it's a bunch more time I get, and I did a lot of overtime while I was there too, so it's like they would just make us stay for like 16 hours if bad weather was coming through, and they wouldn't give us any notice. It would be like 3 o'clock, we're supposed to go home at 3:30, and they're like, hey, you're staying till 11 tonight, and it's like, oh, fuck.
That is one of the worst feelings at being at a job when you're told you can't leave and you have to stay and you have anything going on outside of work.
Yeah, really. I mean, fucked up a lot of things over the years, especially trying to run the business because I'm teaching basically every night over there. Like, I'd have to find coverage like super quick and just figure it out. But thank God that's not a thing anymore.
What was it like leaving? Because that's like a real job.
Yeah.
Like that's a job that people like try and get. That's a job that like you basically get it and you retire and you're told by anybody who works there, anybody that knows that you work there, you just ride it out.
Yeah,
ride it out.
Put
in the time. Put in the time. It'll be worth it. You can retire. And then when you're in that position, no matter what the job is, if you don't like doing it, like it sucks.
Well, yeah, that's just it. Like I couldn't stand it. And it's like I got hired there when I was 20, so I worked there for 6 years, and everyone, like you said, they would all be like, "Oh, you're set, you're good,
you're getting in here young, kid."
Exactly. You're gonna have a good pension, all that, and it's just like, yeah, that's all great, but it's like if I'm here for 40 more years, I'm gonna blow my head off.
Yeah, and then when you start looking at the time and you really think like, oh no, I am here for 40 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's a long fucking time.
Exactly.
I'm 40. You would have to stay there my entire life.
That's just it. It's like I got hired there at 20, so it's like, retiring at 60, 40 years there, I put 6 in, so it's just like that was enough, man. It was just like I knew that like I could see it in myself that I was unhappy and not being the person I wanted to be. So
that's a terrible feeling. And then the other thing too is 60, like I look at where my parents are and when they're supposed to retire, and with doing everything like this and this, I'm like, I want to be done with this shit at 50, not at 60, or at least be involved in like, owning property, real estate, anything that can bring in money other than having to punch in a clock for 40 years.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're doing stuff on your own, it's like it's not as hard. When besides going in like listening to a boss doing shit work, getting shit on every day. But
no, I was just telling my buddy yesterday. I was just like, he's like, what's going on over there? I said, I said, I need help. I said, we're at a time where I'm going to need to hire an employee, which is a crazy point of this business to make a job for somebody.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I said to him, I go, I'm not dealing with going into somewhere I hate. As stressful as this is and as crazy as this is, it's not as bad as having to go fucking work for somebody that's an asshole, or just they're not an asshole and you hate working there.
Exactly. Like even a bad day now when shit goes completely south.
Yeah.
It's like I had a week like a couple weeks ago that was like every day something went wrong, and it was like another like whammy, and it's like this is kind of a shitty week, but it's like, you know what, it's better than going into the job where I'm just wake up miserable every fucking morning.
That was the first thing I noticed that changed when I started, was that I wasn't waking up and being miserable. And what's funny is it took a while to stop being miserable because I was used to, like, I would wake up down here and I'd be like, ugh. And I'm like, wait a minute, you don't have to feel that way. This is what you're doing today. You're not getting in the car, driving to a kitchen and cooking for 12 fucking hours. It was really weird to break the transition.
No, you mentioned that the last time I was here, and I noticed that too, because it was like, it is a total difference. You're waking up, not on the wrong side of the bed every day. And when you do that for so many years, it's kind of weird to wake up and be like, oh, I'm going to make myself a little breakfast. I'm going to have some coffee.
Dude, it took months for me to feel normal doing this. Like, I was like I felt bad sometimes. Sometimes I
feel guilty.
Like if I sleep in, I'm like, oh, you should have been up. And I'm like, if you're going to work till 2 a.m, what's the difference of what time you're waking up?
True.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't stop working on this. Most of the time I have to stop myself from working. Like, I was doing edits the other night till like 10:30, and I was like, stop it. You have the whole day tomorrow. Like, you do not have to work like this. But I'm used to working a full-time job, then working this full-time, and then your whole day is just fucking crazy. I mean, that's what you were doing.
Yeah, and it's, I got so much more time now, and like you said, it's like I'll wake up, I'll lift weights, I'll train in the morning, and then it's like I got a couple hours before I got to be at the school teaching at night, or I'll teach in the morning, I got a couple hours in between before I got to teach again. And it's like, I can do whatever in those times.
It's weird.
It's like, yeah, I'll like go home, take a shower, eat some lunch, and then it's like, all right, we got 3 hours, and it's like, all right, let's go trim the hedges, I guess, or some shit. Because it's like, I feel too guilty if I'm just like, just take a minute.
Yeah.
Do you?
Because and I want to get into how you got into jiu-jitsu and everything as that, but I thought the most important thing to talk about right now is what's going on in your life is with that transition. But for you to have that downtime, like, it's weird being okay with, especially when you're grinding the way you did. I mean, you did all the stuff you did while working a full-time job. And it's not like a regular full-time job. Like, that's a serious, committed career where, like, they force you to do shit, and the payoff is that they give you better health insurance, and then you have a secure job and you're not getting fired, but you're really at their mercy.
Exactly. And that's what it was. It's, the guys would say, you kind of got to sell your soul to them.
Yeah.
It's like, you're there, and if you can make, a shit ton of money in overtime, and you can live that great life and have the nice cars and the vacation house and shit like that, but you're there, you're all the time, you're getting called out, and it's like, I was on call for the whole time I worked there. It's like, you'd get calls at 3 a.m, and they'd be like, yeah, you're coming in.
Yeah. And didn't it also start affecting where you couldn't go to tournaments and things because of work? Because you like, I remember Zach being like, well, Eddie wants Thor to do this thing, but Thor can't get off of work. Yeah. I'm just like, that's crazy.
It was the weekend after Thanksgiving, and like, everybody in my department had taken off for like an extended weekend. So it was like all the older guys in my department used to just take off every week between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So only so many people could be off.
You forget about that shit too, where you have the people that were there 10 years before you, and they know the whole game, and they're like, they have the seniority, and they're like, oh, I don't take off. My vacation is, I take off at the beginning of Thanksgiving, and I don't come back till after Christmas.
Most of them did shit
and then
like that.
And then everyone else has to work the holiday.
All of it. And if something breaks, you got to be there to fix it. So
I forget all the dumb bullshit in factories and working for people like that. And there's always the people that take complete advantage because they were like the fifth guy hired. So like what you said, they have full seniority. They have I worked a place where this one guy was like, had the most time there, and he ran the slowest machine. And then I had to run the fastest machine, which is the most difficult. And when I quit, they asked if I wanted an exit interview, and I go, oh yeah, I'll give you one. Dude, my neighbor worked there, and he's like, you were the talk of the whole factory, because I was like, yo, fuck you, fuck this place. I'm like, this fucking guy knows how to do everything here, and he's running the machine the slowest. I'm like, why wouldn't you train me on the slow machine? Instead, you throw me on this fucking fast machine because this asshole doesn't want to do shit. And it's like, you put up with people that take advantage of the system. And then I think that was a lot of what I hated at working places too, is the older guys with seniority who would make it impossible to work. Like, you're just gonna take off. Oh, I take, and they're everywhere. I'm taking the holidays off, all of them.
And
what?
It was always that fucking way. So if you wanted anything off in that, unless it was some random Wednesday, you were screwed.
You were fucked.
Yeah, and it's like, I remember that one. It was just like, I was like, I don't know what to tell you, man. I can't get up. I need this job.
Yeah, because I mean, at that point in your jiu-jitsu career, it's not like, you were making money, but it's not like you were paying bills or making the same income that you were at the other job. So then you're kind of torn between
the two of them.
Well, I got this because this is paying my fucking mortgage, but then this is extra money, but at the same time, it's not enough to fucking live off of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the whole thing with the school, why you get the school going, so that you have income every month, you know? Because if you're trying to make it just as a jiu-jitsu athlete, like, you get hurt, you're screwed. You're not making any money, you know?
Yeah. There's a lot of roadblocks that can stop you from furthering your career, or if it's something where, like, you know, you tear something and then you're never the same again.
Exactly. And it's like, at least with the school, like, you have income no matter what, as long as you keep that running, which, I mean, that's fun. The school's just fun, honestly.
Yeah. What made you walk through 10th Planet's doors?
Oh, man. So that was a while ago. Me and my buddy Andrew Jones, I've been friends with him since I was like 12. And we had always wanted to do jiu-jitsu. We had been big MMA fans and stuff like that. But we tried a few schools in the area, and it was never like felt right. The vibe was kind of off. And then we saw 10th Planet opened up. He actually called me, I remember, and he was telling me all about it. And we had seen, like, you know, Eddie Bravo videos and shit online. We knew all about it. So we're like, oh, okay. We went over there, and it was basically just like, you know, take our money. We just signed up.
Where was the first school? Was that the one over
by Jimmy John's?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I was making cheesesteaks down the road.
No shit.
Yeah. So was the Jimmy John's location, and then...
Yep, and then they didn't even have a sign-up. We just walked in, and we were just like, yeah, we want to sign up. And Zach was like, how'd you hear about us? And I was like, I don't know, Jonesy found it. Yeah. He said, like, Jones just found it because he would be Googling shit like that all the time. Like, I remember he used to be, like, searching for, like, anything to do like that, because I was, like, hungry to do something after wrestling, and he was just always interested in it.
So you wrestled in high school?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and after that, like, I had a couple college scholarships, but I didn't go to college. So I needed something else to do, you know?
Yeah.
I was just bored.
So when you went in there, did you know right away that it was kind of like it was going to be your home? And
yeah.
It was going to...
You could tell pretty quick. Like, you know, most gyms you go into, like there's a lot of different vibes when you go into, like, an MMA gym or a jiu-jitsu gym. Like, sometimes you go in and it's, like, just like meatheads. If it's more of like an MMA gym, sometimes it's like, yeah, I'm good on that. And then it's like some jiu-jitsu schools are like super traditional, and like you got to bow when you go on the mat, and you got to call him sensei, and but like, fuck that, I'm not doing that. Like, it's like, I like 10th Planet because it's like, I remember my first night there, as stupid as it is, they were showing Granby rules, and he Jam's like, Toad, show a Granby. Toad was a guy that was there. I mean, his name's fucking Toad, so it's like it's like good sign. And he just does like a Granby, which, like, if you don't know what that is, like, basically he rolled up on his neck with his ass in the air, and he just farts as loud as possible and just continues rolling and laughing his ass off. And it's just like, all right, these are my people. These people, like, everyone's like, you know, busting balls in there and telling jokes and stuff like that, and that's the environment I like.
Yeah.
Like, if I was in, like, you know, like a real strict environment, like I said, where it's like you got to when you come on the mat, you can't ask the upper belts to roll, you gotta, you know, call him professor, I would not last in there. Yeah, it's like I'm constantly, like, you know, busting balls with Zach and Jam and stuff like that, because that's who I am. Yeah, and it's like that's what I think's fun and stuff like that. So it's like I like that environment. Was that the first time you ever did jiu-jitsu? Yeah, I had tried maybe, like I said, maybe one or two classes at another place, and I just wasn't a fan of, like, the vibe there. And it was actually at Hammer. I had tried a few classes before Zach and JM. Like,
we had Rodney on. That's Rodney's school?
Yeah. I wasn't a fan of it there, because they were, like, real pushy to sign up and stuff like that, and I just wasn't a fan of it. And then when I went into, like, Zach and JM, like, yeah, take a class, see if you like it.
Yeah, I sat in there a couple times when I was when they were at that school, and just to check it out, and I like the atmosphere. It's not pushed on you at all. Like, even the first couple times when I didn't even know Zach, and I think they used the studio once to do an interview with Eddie Bravo, and I was just talking to him about, like, working together and doing stuff, and he's like, dude, just sit in, just sit, see how we do stuff. And it was, like, super laid back. You know, like, that's the thing too, is, like, there was a lot of nicknames for people. It was fun. It was not an intimidating environment at all. And I think that's a stereotype that I try and tell everybody, like, because I ask friends to go with me, and they always like, yeah, let's do it. But then they're just as nervous as me. But then I go, and then, like, it's not, once you're there and you kind of start doing everything, it's ran extremely professional. They're like, seeing the difference between how those guys are, and then when they'll stop and tell you're not doing something correctly, and like JM will be like, hey Mike, like, you're doing this all right, but could you move this over here? I was like, man, like, these guys, now I see why, you know, the people are as good as they are. Like, they're really great teachers.
No, and that's the way you got to be. Like, if you're laid back with people and you're just honest with them, like, hey, come try a class. Like, everybody that comes in tries a class and they're not sure about it, I tell them, go home. You're either going to wake up tomorrow morning and you're going to say, man, that was awesome, I want to do that again, or you're going to say, not for me. And that's fine. Either one's fine. You don't have to do jiu-jitsu. I'm not going to be mad at you if you don't like it. That's fine. But it's like, go home, think about it. If you want to be here, come back. We'll get you signed up. Great. If not, that's cool, man. And
so I'm guessing when you went home, you wanted to do it again.
Oh, hell yeah. I remember going home and like I said, I had wrestled and stuff like that. And I rolled a little bit, and like JM whooped my ass a little bit that first night. And he was like, I remember he said something. He's like, yeah, I had to show you it worked. I was like, motherfucker, I came in here. I know this works. I just want to learn it. You didn't have to beat the shit out of me tonight. It's my first day. And it's like, no, I was like immediately, and yeah, never looked back.
From seeing as far as you've taken it, how much were you going in there? Well, I mean, did you like get obsessed with it, and then
pretty much.
Was it to a point where they pulled you aside and were like, hey, you're progressing further than others? Or have you just kind of been like, just keep leveling up, competing and going? Like, what was kind of the process of to you even getting a black belt and doing the things that you're doing?
Well, I guess from the start, like, I got my blue belt in like 4 or 5 months, which most people it takes like a year and a half, 2 years.
So you were already kind of on a fast track to begin with.
Yeah, I was doing well because it was like I just from wrestling, I like knew how to move my body and I was in good shape already and stuff like that. And like you said, I just became totally obsessed and started going every day and did nothing else.
Yeah,
because that's who I am. But yeah, I just got super into it. And then like I remember like I didn't really want to compete when I first started. I just wanted a hobby to kind of stay in shape and have something to do with all my like extra energy, because like I said, I had wrestled my whole life. That was like the only thing I did for fun. So it's like, what do I do now? I'm 19 and working a full-time job, and like I feel like I'm losing myself. I need something to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like I just got super into it, and around then, like I said, I didn't want to compete, and then Zach pulled me aside and was like, no, you got to compete. You got to at least do a local tournament, and he made me do one of those, and then it was like, all right, I can do this.
What's cool from seeing it from an outside perspective and following them, and you having the name Thor, it kind of like was this thing growing out of the school. And then like I remember seeing you at one of the finishers, and it was like, Thor's competing, holy shit. Like it was just this like thing building up around you. Now, even with that building up around you, you're not like buying, you know what I mean? Like you're a very humble, normal, like, you know what I mean? Like you have the nickname Thor, but like you're a very grounded human being. You're not like on Instagram being like, "Raw, I'm so strong." Like, you know what I mean? It's cool watching everyone talk about it, and you just staying extremely calm and collected and just doing what you do.
Yeah, I don't know. I hate that when people are like act like they're the shit.
I know, but that's my favorite thing about you having that nickname, and you don't act like that at all.
I know that nickname was given to me because I had really long hair when I started. It's all falling out since. Yeah,
no, I know the feeling.
I just walked in, and Big L was like, "Yo," on my second day, he was like, "Yo, you're Thor now," and I was like, "Okay." And it just stuck. Like everyone knew me as Thor.
Yeah,
it was like I never asked for that or anything or called myself it, but it's like it's cool. But like you said, that it has that nickname, everyone's like, "Oh shit, Thor." It's like, it sounds way better than John Blank, you know. So, like you said, it did kind of like help with shit like that.
No, it definitely built a thing up about it. And I remember being at, one of the, it was probably I forget which one you competed in, but it was like, and Grace is kind of very similar where there's the vibe of when they're going to compete. Like it's real deal shit. It's cool. It was cool to watch that. It's cool to see you be a part of that. And then it's cool to meet you and then be like, oh, this is just like a regular working dude who's like busting his ass at a full-time job. And then he's doing jujitsu because he loves it. Now he's growing that into a career. And then now you're at a point where you're running a fucking school and doing what you want to for a living.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking sweet.
How does that feel, man? That was a lot of hard fucking work.
It was.
No one, people don't do shit like that.
Yeah, I know, and that's just it. Like, you got to try, because like if you don't, you're always gonna fucking regret that. And it's like there's been like other things in my life that I've had cool opportunities, but I never took them for one reason or another. And it's like, this was the one that I was just like, nah, man, you got to fucking try it. I don't care if you crash and burn. Like, you have a trade to fall back on if you need it. But you got to at least try to do this. You got to try and do what you want to do and live the life you want to live. Sure, it's going to be a little bit harder. There's not going to be as much money in it and shit like that. But it's like, I'm happy now.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a lot of reasons why I bring people on here is to show that you can get to that point and you can do, like, I've been miserable for so long not being able to do this full time. And it's like, I'm running it now and it's crazy stressful and it's nuts and whatnot. But it's like, I've seen my attitude, my depression levels, and just how I feel as a general human being completely like balance out. And I'm just like, man, there was such a large part of my life where I was unhappy driving. Like, those drives to a job that you don't want to be at are one of the worst. I don't care if it's a 2-minute fucking drive down the road. It's just to get in your car and be like, oh, I got to go here again. What was it like for you to even walk away, or like when did you start even thinking about leaving your job?
So in 2018, I won EBI, which was one of the biggest tournaments at the time, and I got 20 grand when I won that. So that was a nice little leg, and we were like, all right, we're starting a fucking school with that. That was the plan right away. I was like, all right, that was like the catalyst that, like, you know, I don't want to say it changed my life, but it totally did. As corny as that is to say. But yeah, getting that money, I was just like, all right, we're going to start getting the school. Okay. And then it took like a year to get the school open. And around that time, I placed 4th in ADCC, which is the tournament for us. And it was like, oh shit. So that built a lot of hype around me. Got the school up and running, got it started filling with members. And then right around March, I was thinking about, like, we got enough members, all the numbers are making sense, we can walk away. And then the Rona hit. So that just fucked everything up and pushed the schedule back a little bit.
Now, you downplayed that whole timeline there. Now, when you competed at EBI, was that the biggest thing you guys ever at that point that you've competed in?
At that point, yeah, it was.
What was that for nerve wise? Like, I mean, that was on Fight Pass, and then you went in and, if I'm correct remembering it, you finished everybody in the tournament, and no one's done that before.
Yeah, only like one other person had done it, but I had like the quickest combined time.
It was crazy to watch.
It took me like a combined like 8 minutes to win the 4 matches. Yeah, so that was pretty freaking cool. But I don't know, like those kind of tournaments, like I wasn't really nervous for that one because it was just like, okay, I'm not supposed to win this. You know, like
that's crazy that you have that attitude though.
Yeah, but it's just like, so it's just like, you know what, like, you know, fuck it, dude. Like, we're going out there full send and we're gonna put it on him. And when I go in there with that kind of attitude, that's when I do my best. Yeah. If I go in there like, oh my god, this is such a big venue, blah blah blah, like you're fucked. But if you're just like, you know what, I'm just gonna enjoy the moment, we're gonna go for this. Like,
but I feel like that's your usual general step in life though. Like, you know, gathering from just meeting you a little bit that's kind of your attitude with a lot of the stuff you do, where you're just like, hey, we're doing it, we're just gonna do it.
I've been trying to be that way more, you know, because it's like, you know, I've always, like, before I was always like the worrying type, like, you know, especially when we first started getting the school going, it's like, what if we don't make any money? What if we lose it all?
Dude, those are real things to be worried about, though, man.
Yeah, but it's like, those would always be going through my head, and now it's like, those things still go through my head, obviously. But it's like, I've been, you know, just trying to go with the flow a little bit more, be a little more calm. I'm
in the same boat. Like, even the other day, I was like, shit, man, what are we going to do? Like, you know, because primarily everything I do is sales. So it's like, sales isn't guaranteed. I have the guaranteed money coming in from the sponsors that pays for everything. And then you have your other things that make you money. But then it got to a point where I was like, you can relax. Like, you figure this out every month. Every month you land sales. Every month you get more clients. Some it's more, some it's less, but I'm not sitting down here doing nothing and being like, fuck, how am I going to pay for my bills? Like, it's hard to believe in yourself when you had to push yourself so hard before that, when you got like I'm essentially here, but it's hard not to push anymore.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. It's like, the one thing that really made me more confident when I quit and stuff like that was, like, I kept track of all my sales that I was doing, like t-shirt wise, doing private lessons, matches, seminars, all that shit. Like, I started keeping track of, like, you know, how much extra income, not from the school, not from my job at the time, that I had coming in. And once I saw how much that was, I was like, oh shit, we can be okay. We'll be all right. And then it's like, then you check the numbers from the school, which are like, you know, going through the system and the computer, which is like just memberships and stuff. And it's just like, dude, we're good. You're fine, dude. Relax.
It's hard to relax though, especially when, and I think most of it is from doing a double grind like that, where you're working full time, then you're doing the school, and then it's so much work and it's so hard to do. And that's where a lot of people don't finish it out. A lot of people just like, fuck it, man, I'm going to stay at the job. Or people pull out of the job too early and then they're fucked and then they have to get another job. And then
That's one of the
I've
big
done that
things,
so many times. Like where I thought I was good and then left, and thank God they weren't careers and they were just shitty, not shitty, but like under the table jobs where you're getting cash. I could always go back to them, but it was always just so disappointing to be like, fuck, I got to get a job again.
Well, yeah, that's just it. And it's like, if I was working, a job where I was making, $15 an hour or some shit, I probably would have quit way earlier and been like, fuck it, full send, we're going for it.
Yeah,
but it's like, when I was making a real good salary there, so it's just like,
that must have been a really hard decision to walk away from eventually.
It was. I mean, but like, I'll be real. The only benefit of being there was the money.
Yeah.
I was fucking miserable.
Yep.
I was not happy. I was doing work I hated. I was unfulfilled. I could see myself being a miserable person.
Yeah.
And it's really fucking hard to go back in on a job on Monday when it's like, over the weekend you just won 20 grand choking people, or you just took, fourth in the world at, like our Olympics basically. And it's like, then you got to go in on Monday and they're like, oh, John's low man on the totem pole. Goes make him fucking climb the transformers and shit like that. And it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like that was hard.
Yeah, that's got to be so bizarre to do that, to win EBI, and then get that money, and then Monday have to show up to work on time.
Yeah.
Especially where that was probably such a crazy, fun adrenaline dump where you're like, that was probably a crazy weekend for you guys.
Oh yeah, it was the shit. It was like the best weekend of my life, and it's like, and it's so cool. Like, you win that, everyone's coming up and shaking your hands and wants to take pictures with you and talk to you, and it's like, if you're on top of the world, and then you go back Monday and it's, all right, John, here's your job for the day. Go ahead. And it's like no one at fucking work knows that, I won a bunch of money over the weekend.
That's what I was going to ask you, too. Did anyone at work know that you were doing this shit outside of work?
I would tell them and stuff like that. They never took it, like, seriously until I won EBI, and I came back, and they found out that because the one guy Googled, he's like, wait, you won 20 grand? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, so you're really good. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you guys.
What did they think when you told them you were leaving?
I had told them for a while that, like, I wanted to leave. Like, they knew I wasn't happy there. Like, most of the guys there, like I said, were like, kids and a wife and mortgage and all that shit, and they're like, they're stuck there. They're a slave to the place.
Yeah.
Because they need the money to, keep their lifestyle going, keep their family happy, send their kids to a nice college, shit like that. Because that's what they would all do. They'd all pay for their kids to go to college and set their kids up real nice and stuff like that. And that's great that they would do that. Yeah. But I don't have kids. I don't have a wife. All I have is a mortgage, thank God. Yeah. But it's just like, what's keeping me here? It's like, yeah, it's great money. My bank account's looking great, but it's like, I'm fucking miserable. I live off of, not even a full paycheck a month just because I'm not a materialistic person. I'm a cheap fuck as is. So it's just like, why am I here? I'm just, hurting myself mentally being here. It's like killing my soul.
And when the other thing too is like a lot of my friends have kids and they have serious jobs, and then, they start these lives, and then what you said, they're caught in a lifestyle.
Exactly.
Pattern. So it's like, you need, and my parents did it. It's a traditional way of living. And then when I didn't have a wife, I didn't have kids, and then like I started doing this, I was like, well, you don't have any fucking anchors.
Yeah.
And then when you start realizing that like we are in a position where you don't have kids, you're not, I don't own a home, like I don't do all this shit that I'm tied to, where it gives me complete freedom to do something like this. If I ever had kids or had a kid, this wouldn't exist.
No,
I would be raising a kid, and my life would just be working at a job and then coming home and taking care of my son or daughter. And then it's like when you have the opportunity to take a leap, and I'm not saying if you have all that shit you can't do this, I'm just saying when you don't have anything tied to you, it's a much easier decision where you're like, well, wait a minute, I have this much money saved up, I paid all my debt off, this is smooth sailing over here, I'm already making money. And like that's the thing too, is you did it the right way, where you stayed at your job, you didn't quit and then open up 10th Planet Allentown and then hope it would work.
No, like I made sure like that, like the bare minimum I take in a month is still more than enough to pay all my personal bills and the school bills. Yeah. Because like I said, I stayed lean all throughout there, because a lot of people, when they, are working there, like mad people would go buy Mustangs and shit like that. Or, snowmobiles. They'd buy toys. All the guys had toys. And it's just like, I never did that shit. I saved. Yeah. So that really helped. It made it a lot easier to do. And I didn't get caught up in that lifestyle of, spending a shit ton of money.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's easy to do that stuff where a bunch of, especially where like when you're at a place like that and everybody's working together and you are around people every day, it's like, like, hey, we're all getting snowmobiles.
Yeah,
we're going here.
We're going out drinking twice a week after work and shit like that. And it's like, nah, man, I gotta go train.
Yeah.
It's like, but
how many times a week were you going in to train? Every day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what I want to do. Like I said, it's basically the only thing I really enjoy.
And then you had started teaching there as well?
Yeah, I started teaching at Bethlehem back when I was like a purple belt, maybe, just because like Zach and Jam were running every night, and it's like it gave them a night off in the beginning, basically. And it was cool for me too, because I kind of knew like pretty early on, like this is something I'd like to do, and it was fun to teach, and I got experience doing it, and it was fun. You're
building the foundation of what you're running now too.
Exactly, and it's like, because it's a little different teaching, like how you got to talk to people and stuff like that, and that's one of the biggest things is like you can't talk to everybody the same way. You got to talk to people differently for them to get it. Some people you have to be like real encouraging and be like, oh man, you're doing great, but if you just moved your hand here, it would be so much better and you'd really get it. And then other people, you got to go like kick them in the ass and be like, yo, dumb shit, do it like this. Like, what are you doing here?
Do you feel like you get that perception of it, or like how are you able to read people like that?
You can, I don't know. You can usually tell pretty quick by somebody. Like some people come in and like like a wrestler that comes in will be real confident and think like, he's like, he knows what he's doing already. And it's like, you kind of got to break him down.
Do you guys get that a lot?
Oh yeah. Like a wrestler coming in, it's like, you kind of got to break them down a little bit and then build them back up, And be like, no, you don't know what you're doing. You're going to learn. But then like other people you'll get that come in that are like real timid and are trying to like do it to like, build some self-esteem or whatever. And it's like, you got to be a little nicer to those people and be like, yo man, you're a badass. Like, look at that. You just choked that dude, you know? And you got to encourage them and stuff like that. But it's just like, everybody does it for a different reason, and you kind of got to figure that out and talk to them a little differently.
Do you enjoy teaching?
I love it.
Yeah.
I really do. It's really rewarding.
When you moved the transition over to school, how long were you over there before you quit and went full-time teaching?
So I ran the school for like 10 months before I quit my day job.
Would you say it's the 1 year anniversary or 2?
1 year anniversary.
1 year anniversary?
Yep. So it took just about a year to get to the point. Like I said, like we built up students really quick there. We built up a really big student base quickly. And like I was going to go in March after like 6 months of it being open, but it was just like, then Corona hit and slowed everything down. But
was that stressful for you?
Fuck yeah, of course it was.
I had to ask.
Yeah, of course it was, man. But we got through it, and like the one really good thing I did was I didn't take a dime from the business up to that point.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I had a lot of savings, and I still like, technically I'm not taking a salary till the first of the year, till January 1st, just to make my taxes easier this year.
Yeah.
But it's like, so we had good savings, so even if something does happen again, we'll be all right. We're gonna make it through it, just because like I said, that's the type of, I'm a saver. It's who I am. I want to make sure, like worst case scenario, like we're shut down for 6 months, we still have enough money to make sure everything runs, and we're going to be open at the end of that 6 months.
It's crazy because when I was making the transition and was at the post office, and I didn't even know I was going to go full bore into this, and then you really have to have everything set up in order for it to work. Like I couldn't jump into this with debt. I couldn't jump, you know what I mean? Like if you didn't have any savings at all and you had all these kind of financial things going on, you really wouldn't have been able to jump into it the way you did.
No, you gotta, like I said, you stay in lean's like the main thing.
Yeah.
That's such a, like, so many people get caught up in, like I said, that lifestyle. And so many people get caught up just living slightly above their means.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I've done it for a while, and I always try to do stuff, and then like when I really sat down and like wrote out my money
numbers,
and like because you can ignore the numbers all the time, and then when you actually write them the fuck out and you're like, okay. And then I'm like, all right, well, where am I spending my money? And then like when I jumped into this, I had to clear all my debt. So it's like, I almost died at the post office doing that. You know what I mean? Like I was working crazy hours. When somebody offers overtime and you know what it's like to get an overtime check, you don't say no to overtime. And then you start becoming a slave to overtime, and then you burn out. So it's like, I was like really close to burning out, but it's like I had to clear all that debt because this didn't ever work because I was, robbing Peter to pay Paul, where you would get the money in, then you're putting it right out on the credit cards and shit like that. Like I don't know, like I think it's super important for people to know that, like, if you want to take something serious like that, you have to take the other part of your life serious, and you have to start making some sacrifices.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, you've made a ton of sacrifices to get to where you're at, not buying those things that the other guys at work were, and not going out drinking, and like doing all this shit. And like, I look at where I'm at now and where I'm going to go and what it's going to be in the next 3 years. And I'm like, damn, man, like, you know, I fucked up a lot of shit. Like, I basically have never been in a serious relationship because this has always came first. And it's like, in the end, I'll be happy, but like, I sacrificed
a lot of
like
shit.
Somebody asked me like, hey man, how do you make money doing this? How do you do this? And I'm like, all right, well, don't have an apartment, put all your money into the studio, you know, basically drive yourself insane, fuck up every relationship you've ever had with a girl, and then spend all your time and money doing this until it works. Can you do that?
Yeah, and it's like, I get what you're saying, and like, luckily I had a good job that set me up well for stuff like this. I was a little lucky in that perspective, but like you said, you do have to fucking sacrifice. Like,
take the job out of it. You know, who trains every day? You know what I mean? I'm sure there's a lot of people that do it, but there's also a lot of people that don't.
Exactly.
Like, you had to want to do that.
Exactly.
Then you made a career out of going in there every day. Then you started teaching. Then you looked into, you know, then you're competing. So now you're working full time, teaching, still training, and you know, that's not a fucking easy task to juggle.
No. And like you said, like, you're gonna make sacrifices in your life somewhere. Like, over the years, like, I didn't have, you know, a lot of time seeing friends. I didn't do anything else besides working in jiu-jitsu. Like I said, I've noticed now that I'm not working. I have no hobbies.
Yeah.
I have no fucking clue what to do with myself if I'm not working or doing jiu-jitsu. And it's like, I gotta find something.
Yeah, I mean, if I break down what I do, it's the fights, Saturdays. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Other than that's the only time I'm not working and doing this shit. It's my brain's constantly, who's the next guest? Who are you going to get? What are you doing today? And,
the next hustle.
Where's the intern? You know what I mean? Like, you're just constantly worrying about the business. The only time, and then now I look at it and I'm like, you know, I try and play video games, but then I don't know if this is what you find out is like, where I'll be playing video games and I'm like, man, you just played video games for 4 hours. You could have been working on the business. Like, I start like punishing myself for not doing shit. It's like, crazy.
I'll sit down and do whatever and like just be like, I'm going to relax for an hour. And after like 15 minutes, I'm like, or you could do this. It's like, you know, and it's like, I've just been, like I said, like, I feel like I neglected so much shit in my life because I was so busy, like around the house and stuff, that's been keeping me busy. Like, you know, there was a hallway that I hadn't painted from like when I redid my basement like 2 years ago. So I was like, all right, get this done, rehang the rail, we're good here. And it's like, move on to the next project. And it's been like all home improvements now, but it's like, I'm starting to run out of shit. So it's like, I gotta find something else to do.
What do you primarily do besides when you're not doing any of this stuff, when you have downtime? Are you finding yourself looking for a hobby, or are you just kind of finding yourself, I'm finding another angle to do stuff with 10th Planet? Like, well, I mean, I see you're competing again. Like, what do you see filling that time with? Are you just obsessed with where you're going to keep competing and doing more stuff if it opens up?
I am going to keep doing shit like that, but it's like I said, like I still have like an hour or two every day where it's like, could be doing something else that's productive. You know? And it's like, I'll find something else. And it's like, if I could find something else like to do also with jiu-jitsu, I'd be happy. Yeah. Because it's like, I feel like one day I'll be too old for jiu-jitsu and it's like, I'll need something else. It would be nice to have another hobby when that day comes.
Yeah. I find it a lot though with meeting productive people where their hobbies fall to the wayside because they're just productive. Like, if you're a productive, like today, like I'm working on, like, I'm like, all right, I got to clean the whole studio out. I got to do the back room. The back room needs to be organized because then that's going to make my life easier. So like, I could be doing something else, but it's just my passion for making this run better, bigger, stronger, faster is just, it's
all consuming.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And when, you know, you don't realize it till you're in it, but like when you become obsessed and you jump down that rabbit hole, it's really hard to even pull yourself out of it because it's just, I love it. Yeah. I love doing it.
Yeah. And you're right, because it's not work. It's,
no.
You enjoy it. Like, even like I clean the school all the fucking time. And it's just like, who enjoys cleaning? But when it's, you know,
when it's your shit,
when it's through the school and it looks nice, and then like people come in, it's well organized. We have the new merchandise hanging up, shit like that. Yeah, the place looks good, and you feel good about it. I know what you mean.
It's cool taking ideas like where you see, like, and I'm sure how it is with you. It's like you see the school a specific way, and then when you put work into it, and you get your merchandise area, and you know, it's cool watching things come to life out of your imagination and your work, and you know, putting everything down to make it happen.
Yeah, it's fulfilling.
Where do you see the school going? Where do you see what you're going to be competing in? Like, where do you see all of this in the next 5 years?
Bigger and better on everything. But no, we got 2 more years at our current spot, and we'll be in a bigger spot, maybe even before that, you know?
Yeah.
We're already getting a little crowded over there. So, you know, with all these other businesses closing, maybe we can find a good deal on something else.
Well, that's what Zach always pushes too, is he's like, well, there's always like a negative going on, there's always like something coming out of it. So it's like if somebody's business goes under and then rent's now cheaper because they can't get businesses, and you have a business that's thriving, and then you can get a bigger school.
Exactly. And it's like, well, like I said, we're getting a little crowded where we're at now because it's like we're doing better than we expected. But sorry.
You're right.
Maybe in a year or so, like the landlord that we have owns a lot of buildings, so it's like maybe we can get into something else a little bit
and then
bigger.
if you have a good relationship, like that's how I am with this landlord, where we walk the space up the street, and I'm just trying to be realistic on when my move's going to be. But like when you have a good relationship with a landlord like that, that's connected to other properties, it makes things a lot easier too.
Yeah.
Will you keep it in Allentown?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't want to move like more than a mile or two from where we're at now because it's convenient for a lot of people that live over there. We're in a great location. We're right off 2278 and the turnpike's all within a mile from where we're at. So it's like people can get there from all over the place, and it's convenient. It's a great location. It just could be a little bigger.
Do you see how big do you see the school getting?
I don't know. I'd like to get something around the size that Bethlehem is now, at least. And, you see where it goes. I mean, I want it to be the biggest and baddest school there is, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's just like, you see where it goes, the natural progression, see how people do. And it's growing every day, currently. So I see nowhere else that it's going to go. We're putting the same work in. We're doing the same things there every day. People keep coming.
Now, I wanted to bring up you competing because you competed recently. Mm-hmm. Where do you see yourself competing the rest of this year, going into next year?
I got 2 more competitions scheduled for December. One's going to be at the end. It's going to be at the Combat Jiu-Jitsu. We're doing one of those. And then there's one that I'm not supposed to talk about yet, but it's coming up before that. That'll be a good one. But. Cool.
And then do you see yourself competing regularly throughout the year? Because that was the other thing I said to you too, is now with competing, you have the time to put in, which is crazy because, and I mean, I don't know if other people look at it this way, but I do, where I'm like, man, you were this good with that 40 hours, like what monster's coming out of this that now he's got time to put even twice the work in.
I know, and it's exciting to see because I can see changes in my own game already where I'm getting better.
But that's crazy though, because you're at such a high level now and you were being held back by a full-time job to even see what's going to come out of it.
Yeah, well, it's like I was ranked 4th in the world working a full-time job, so it's like, obviously I want to be number 1. That's all I really care about. I want to win ADCC.
Yeah.
That's my main goal. That's my only real goal. I'll do other competitions to stay sharp in the meantime, and you can make a little extra money doing them, get your name out there, see some cool towns, travel with it. But it's like the main goal is I want to win ADCC.
Do you like traveling?
Love it.
Yeah,
I really do. I love when you get to go to like a new city and you get to, like, I'll go there for a competition or a seminar or something, and then I get to spend like a day or two and pick a random city, and it's like you got to go see the local restaurants, check out what's going on. Like one of the most fun trips me and my girl had was we went up to in Massachusetts to film a DVD, and we were right by Salem, so we took an Uber down there and we just walked around Salem and hit bars and dispensaries and just looked at the art and like the witch's house and shit like that, and that was a fucking blast. That was a great weekend. Because
now with the level that you're on and where you were at before is that you can go teach seminars as long as anyone will take you, but you could build traveling around doing that.
Exactly. And it's like a lot of guys do that, and it's like once I have somebody I'm a little more comfortable with helping at the school running classes when I'm not there, because right now I'm still control freak over shit.
Yeah, of course. It's your baby.
Exactly. But I'll travel more, and even now I still get to, like, I get to see some cool towns and stuff like that, and it's like, that's fun to me, because it's like I'll make a little money doing a seminar or a match or something like that, which is good, building the brand, making money for me, all that good stuff.
And you have the school still running.
Exactly. And then also on top of that, I get to see a cool town for the weekend.
Yeah. when you book that stuff out, do you have people contacting you, or do you kind of like just contact places you want to go and be like, hey, you interested in a seminar? Like, how does that all work with even booking them?
I've never reached out to anybody just because, like, I don't know. I don't want to be that guy that's like, hey, pay me money. But
Yeah.
maybe I should be like that a little bit more. But mainly it's just people contacting me, and it's like, most of the time, like anywhere you go is usually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like you can find something to do most places. Like when we went up to Massachusetts, it's like we went up to like Beverly, Massachusetts or something like that. And it's just like, where the fuck is this? And then it's like I start Googling around. It's like, oh, Salem's 10 minutes away. Let's go to Salem.
Yeah.
And that's cool stuff, doing stuff like that. But you'll find something anywhere.
I want to start wrapping up and give you an opportunity to plug everything. I wanted to have you come on here for a while. Your story is one of my favorites. There's always the stories that come out of 10th Planet Bethlehem are some of the coolest, and your story was so rad because I always related to it outside of jiu-jitsu of you following a dream while working a full-time job, and that shit ain't easy, and what you do is not easy, and I wanted to kind of showcase, and I figured it would be exactly like this where you're very humble and you play it down, but you put in a lot of fucking hard work, and I feel like you deserve it all, and couldn't be happier for you opening up 10th Planet Allentown and everything going for you, and the jiu-jitsu community in a whole. The little bit that I've been there and the little bit that I've gone to the school, I tell everybody is a rad community, and you guys all support each other. There's a couple of dickheads, but mostly you guys are really good people, and you guys have work ethic that is usually above others. So I just wanted to thank you for coming on. I'll give you a chance to plug the school, anything you want to do, and then you're always welcome to come back on here, or Now We Go anytime you want.
Dude, I appreciate it. But our website's 10thplanetallentown.com. If you ever want to do some jiu-jitsu in Allentown, we let everyone have a free trial, try a class, come in, see if you like it. You're always welcome. On Instagram, I'm just John Thor Blank, and that's all I got.
Cool. Thank you so much, man. I'll let you go. And like I said, the door is always open, and you feel free to come on and fuck with JM on Now We Go. Later, man.
Thank you.